My next guest developed an interest in politics in the second grade. He wrote letters to then Texas Governor George W. Bush. Now at the age of 22, Democrat Stephen Meyer is hoping to become the youngest representative in the state legislature. He is aiming to unseat Assemblyman Raymond Walter, a Republican who represents the 146th district, bringing in a new generation of politics to reinvent the Albany scene. Joining us now from Buffalo to talk more about his campaign is Stephen Meyer. Welcome to Capitol Tonight.
Thank you, Liz. It's a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So I have seen your website, and I know why it is that you decided to, instead of take any number of job offers or go around the world, return home to Buffalo. But explain, if you would, to viewers who are thinking to themselves, 22, where was I at 22? Nowhere near running for a state legislative seat.
Sure. Well, you know, like you said before, this has really been a lifelong passion of mine. You know, ever since I was a little kid, since the age of 4 pretty much, I always knew that I would end up living here in Western New York. I always knew that this would forever be home for me. I would start my family here, I would retire here, and ever since I was a little kid, I saw a lot of potential in this community. I still see that potential, and it grows every day. And I want to invest in this community. You know, growing up, a lot of people I knew, a lot of people I worked with, a lot of people I went to school with, they all said, oh, I can't wait to get out of Buffalo. I want to go to Chicago or DC or LA. Well, you know, I want to make this a place where the next generation of people, the next generation of workers and leaders, this should be a place where they want to live and raise a family. So that's what I'm working towards here, because I believe in this community, and I know a lot of the voters do too.
So most people usually, when they start a political career, start a little bit lower, like school board, for example. We've had a lot of younger folks run for school board successfully. City council, maybe, I don't know, county clerk. I mean, you're aiming fairly high, and even though actually there's more Democrats registered in the district, it's still characterized as an uphill battle for you.
Sure. Well, you know, this district hasn't really had a Democratic representative since 1982. Now, there's a number of factors that work into that, but in my race, you know, I really think that there's a very good shot here. You know, I believe in one thing, and that's hard work. You know, I really think that hard work, well, I mean, it works. And in addition to that, if you have passion for what you're doing, and if you really care about what the people care about, then you should have a great shot no matter what you're doing.
Well,
you know, I know that I'm certainly aiming. Sure, go ahead.
You, forgive me, you did, you are aiming high, if that's what you were going to say, but you did win a primary. We should give you that. I mean, you already do have one victory chalked up.
That's right. And you know, in that primary, we had some of the largest margin of victory in all of Western New York. And I have to say, that does not happen on accident. That is the product of hard work and passion. So that being said, you know I'm aiming high, but I really care about this, and I know a lot of voters do too. And it seems like after the primary that a lot of the voters of Western New York believe in this message, because it's not just my message, it's our common message as a society and as a culture in Western New York to push for honesty in government. And that's what I stand for.
Well, you would have the benefit of, if you won, being a member of the majority, and arguably the majority is able to do more for voters than the minority, and your opponent, of course, is in the minority. Is the majority helping you? It's known as DAC. It would be the Democratic Assembly Campaign Committee. Is this a race that they're targeting?
Well, this is a race that all Democrats are targeting. You know, this isn't just a matter of which party is going to support which candidate. This is a matter of whether or not the public is going to support a candidate.
Sure.
You know, I'm not sure how much you read into this campaign, but I'm actually the only candidate for state legislature who has decided to refuse campaign contributions from corporations and their lobbyists. You know, I really believe that there's far too many special interests in politics, and if my party wants to support this race, then that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the party supporting its candidate. But I will say that for the future, there are a lot of people working on this campaign. This is really a grassroots effort. We have a lot of different people from around the community, Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Greens. It's really across party lines. This is a multidimensional effort here.
So how do you feel then about the speaker, about Sheldon Silver, who of course is a controversial figure, and there's been some not so fantastic stories over the past year. If you made it to Albany, would you vote for him?
Well, you know, I think that's kind of putting the cart before the horse. And, you know, I don't mean to sound like I'm avoiding the question, because I'm not. You know, I really believe in true effective leadership. And personally, I'd like to meet him first. You know, I think I would like to have one-on-one with him and actually talk about what we believe in together, so I can make a better decision. You know, I really believe that I'm a fair person. And on top of that, I really believe that I have the best interests of the people in mind. So right now, I'm mostly concerned about getting out, meeting the people, going door to door, and doing what matters here in the district, not what matters elsewhere.
Well, okay, fair enough. What is your feeling then about Governor Cuomo? I mean, certainly he's lavishing a lot of attention onto Buffalo, and one of the reasons why the turnout was so significant in Western New York is because he's running Kathy Hochul, former Congresswoman, as his running mate. But, you know, there are other parts of the state which would very much like his attention as well. Syracuse, Rochester, Utica, Binghamton. I mean, do you, first of all, believe that the governor's paying sufficient attention to Buffalo? And also, do you believe he's sufficiently progressive?
Well, you know, I think the governor has done a very good job, especially in recent months, giving attention to Western New York. You know, the thing is about Western New York is we've really seen it all. You know, I mean, we've been at the bottom, we've worked our way back up, we've been through some really tough times, and so when someone kind of reaches out and offers us a great deal of help, you know, obviously anyone will be initially wary of who is offering that help. But at the end of the day, I know that our party and our leadership, you know, we've been working towards a better Buffalo. I believe in the potential that we have here in Western New York, and I'm sure that the governor does himself. So, you know, I hope to work with him to push that potential and invest in that potential. You know, I really believe in investing in the people of Western New York. I mean, we're some of the most hardest working people you'll find anywhere in the world. And across the state, I think he's done a great job as well. You know, I mean, it's a tough job being governor. It really is. And it's tough to find where you're going to invest time and resources. But I think he's had a pretty pragmatic and proactive approach towards different crises across the state.
You know, you also have as part of your platform stronger ethics reform, which would probably put you on the same page with the governor, but might not make you very popular with your colleagues if you're elected in Albany. I mean, you are in favor of full disclosure for clients for those who have outside interests. Now, there was a little bit more, there's more disclosure, but it's not specific and, you know, as specific as some people want. I mean, are you concerned with the corruption that you see in Albany? Are you going to be, really, could you say you'd be proud to sit in the chamber, to sit in the Capitol, given all of what's happened in the past several years?
Sure. Well, you know, I am absolutely concerned of the culture of corruption. That's really where the root is. It's the culture of corruption, and that goes beyond certain actions of certain representatives. That goes into the integrity and the character of our elected officials. You know, a primary plank of my platform is something that maybe you can't write it into law, and that is honesty. I really believe in honesty, and I believe that if we have honest representatives in office, then we won't even have to talk about things such as ethics reform. The only reason we have to talk about this is because we have dishonest representatives in office. The culture of corruption in Albany has been going on for way too long, and it's unacceptable. So yeah, I do want to work towards that. I want to work towards any ethics reform that we can ever enact. It should be incredibly strict. There's no reason why we should have representatives who go against what the people would want them to do when A, they're the second highest paid legislators in the country, and B, we pay some of the highest taxes in the country. I mean, we pay so much and work so hard for what we have. There's no reason why we should have corrupt officials in office.
I do want to ask you before we run out of time, one of the most notable things that's on your resume is that you worked for Gabby Giffords, the former Congresswoman who was shot, grievously injured, and is now a gun control advocate. When were you with her, and do you believe in all that she's doing now?
I came on board after the incident, and you know, I have to say Gabby Giffords is an incredibly inspirational person. I mean, she is a very strong woman, a very powerful and strong leader, and she's quite an inspiration to me as a person. You know, I worked in her office for about a year up until she resigned from Congress. And as far as a direct answer to your question goes, you know, I do support what she's pushing for. I mean, in the wake of everything that we've seen here across the entire nation with different tragedies, I think we do need to enact stricter gun reforms. And I think New York State, we've taken a good step towards that. Now, whether or not it was exactly the 100% correct step, you know, that's for the future to tell. But I will say that I do agree with her on those grounds, and I will push for better reforms.
And you would have voted yes on the SAFE Act then?
Yes, I would have voted yes.
Well, I have to tell you, Stephen, you sound just like any other candidate that I've ever spoken to, which I guess is half a compliment. And I thank you very much for your time.
Sure. Well, well, thank you very much. And you know, that being said, though, I do want to say I'm not just like a politician. You know, I frankly, I don't like it when people call me a politician. I mean, look at the word politic. Poly, many, tick, blood-sucking. I mean, you know, that's not me. There's a difference between being a politician and being a representative. And I hope to be a representative, not a politician.
Well, we'll keep an eye on the race. I thank you so much for joining us.
Great. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.